have adult attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, or ADHD. Give me your other hand. Give me your other hand. Oh my goodness, who is this? Champion? Hey everyone, Heather here, vlogger, creator, and entrepreneur, and I'm documenting my journey in building Sharespark Media, a movement to educate and empower people to utilize digital media to achieve meaningful goals. If you're new to my channel, you might not know that I do have ADHD. I talk about it pretty often, and I do have a whole playlist of vlogs where it's just dedicated to my experience with having ADHD, especially as an adult and being an entrepreneur. If you want to check out my vlogs that I've already done on ADHD, you can click here to see that playlist. For this vlog though, I'm including a replay of a Facebook Live that I did for a page called ADHD Inspiration. It's a Facebook page of about 35,000 followers, and the page is dedicated to providing like resources and inspirational content for the ADHD community. One of the moderators of the page had found one of the vlogs where I was talking about ADHD and had asked me if I was interested in going live on their Facebook page to just share my experience with their community. Having ADHD has been such a huge part of my entrepreneurial journey. I am very proud of having ADHD, but I know there's a lot of people who are still struggling with it. I've learned to leverage it so that it works in my favor. And so I'm more than happy to share my experience if that helps other people. But I do have to say I was nervous about this Facebook Live because going live to a whole page with 35,000 followers was like, that's just a whole nother level of reach that I've never been at. Even though I am a vlogger and even though I do live streaming all the time, I was still kind of like, ooh, these are numbers I've never dabbled in. But I did do the stream. I was a little bit nervous in the beginning. I think you'll be able to see that. But I'm including the replay here because just in case any of you have ADHD or you know someone who has ADHD and might find this helpful, I basically talk about my story and I share some of the tips that I use in my daily life to cope with ADHD. And I answer questions from the community as well. I do have to apologize because I was using my headset and I totally forgot that my hair was like rubbing on the mic, and it annoys me because I've rewatched this live stream and that's all I'm paying attention to. Maybe I shouldn't have drawn attention to it, but I'm just gonna apologize in advance. So with that said, enjoy the replay, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful, let me know what you think in the comments, and I will catch you guys later. Bye! Hi everybody, my name is Heather Ramirez, or HeatherJustCreate online. That is my personal brand, that's what I go by, HeatherJustCreate. And I'm a vlogger, creator, and entrepreneur, and I'm documenting my journey in building Sharespark Media, which is a movement to educate and empower people to utilize digital media to achieve meaningful goals. And I'm documenting my journey through YouTube videos or vlogs. And I started my journey on April 16th of 2016. And the reason why I'm going live with you guys today is because around the same time that I embarked on my entrepreneurial journey, I also was diagnosed with ADHD, and I'm 32 years old, so I had no idea I didn't know what ADHD was. I had no idea I'd had it my whole life until pretty much like a year and a half ago. So today I'm going to be sharing with you just like my experience of having ADHD, especially being an entrepreneur, kind of tips and tricks that I do to help me manage my productivity and my schedule and making sure I stay on task. And also some just things that I've researched and learned, and in sharing that I have ADHD on my YouTube channel, kind of just some feedback that I've gotten too that I wanted to share with you guys. And before I go into that, I do want to thank Paul of ADHD Inspiration, who invited me to be on this stream right now, because I believe he found me through my YouTube channel. And like I said, I'm documenting my entrepreneurial journey. Talking about ADHD was something I really, really struggled with. And you guys know this, I have ADHD, so I'm gonna bounce around, okay? So anyway, talking about ADHD was something when I told my mom I was diagnosed, she was like, there's no way you can tell the world that you have ADHD. It's like something to be ashamed of, and it's like this disability, this learning difference, this mental illness, whatever. But my goal with my YouTube channel, which is HeatherJustCreate, is to share my story as authentically as possible, because I feel like the struggles really add to the story and the journey. So I shared my first vlog about ADHD in January, actually. Feels like forever ago, but it was just January of this year. And I didn't expect to get the reaction that I did. I had a ton of people tell me, I resonate so much with what you're saying. I cried just listening to someone share all of the same things that I've experienced in my life and stuff like that. So another thing with ADHD is like, I will forget what I'm saying. Okay, cool. So let's see, what was I saying? YouTube channel. Oh yeah, so I did a vlog. I'm on my 160 vlog. I've done a total of 250 videos. That's between live streams and vlogs and videos and tutorials and stuff like that. But to do that ADHD one was really, man, I filmed it. I had to refilm it 3 times. It took me hours to shoot the thing just because I kept crying and I kept thinking how do you push yourself out there like that? Talking about something that is a vulnerability, is embarrassing and stuff like that. But man, I have the video up on my laptop because I wanted to read some of the comments to you guys before I jump into the practical stuff, which I probably should do. But I just want to read some of these things just to know, since this page is ADHD inspiration, to make you guys know that we're not alone. Everyone is struggling with this. There's a lot of people everywhere. And just to see the stories that people have shared on my video empowered me to talk about it more, because I was like, it's crazy that we have to be embarrassed about this or hide it as if it was a bad thing. But to me, honestly, and I think it's different for me, I have a different experience because I was diagnosed when I was 30. I see it as a superpower. And I know that's, I'm not a medical professional. I don't know much about ADHD. I didn't grow up knowing that I had it. So I never had the support system and all of the programs that I know other kids who are diagnosed have had. Okay. So I'm going to preface that, but, to me, I see it as a superpower, and I definitely wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if not for ADHD. So I cannot read your comments. Oh, here we go. There they are. Okay. So here's some of the things. Because of my employment, I had to come off my medications 13 years ago. Now as I'm phasing, jumping into entrepreneurship, I've gotten myself back into therapy. Good for you. Welcome to the ADHD community and entrepreneurial path. Great video. I too have lifelong ADHD. In my late 30s, I was diagnosed in 2015. I've done the same thing, just diagnosed at 58. Mental illness is a taboo thing. Thanks for sharing. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Wish I knew I had it in high school. Me too. So there's just a lot of people who have reached out because I've talked about it. And so what was my original point? Paul found this video and then invited me to go live with you guys. So yeah, I was actually diagnosed with depression and anxiety. Okay, first of all, mental illness is something that I never knew anything about. It's just it's taboo in my family. We don't talk about it. It's never something, even when I felt like something was off, thinking that it was a mental issue was just not an option. I didn't even think about that at all because, I don't know, it's just I grew up in a world that did not take mental illness seriously. So it was always okay, if you're feeling depressed, go watch a movie, go play games, go hang out with friends, go have fun. But when I was still at my full-time job, just something was totally off. So I went to the doctor. She diagnosed me with depression and anxiety. And then I quit my job to start this entrepreneurial journey. And when I did that, it was the first time that I was seeing a medical professional and talking about, I guess, my symptoms. I didn't realize that that's what I was talking about. But because my entire environment had changed, I'd gone from a structured 9-to-5 job to just full-blown entrepreneurship where I'm my own boss and I'm the one who has to figure out what needs to get done that day and the priorities and what the strategies are. In just talking about that to her, she was like, you have full-blown ADHD, straight up. And I was like, what are you talking about? Because I always associated ADD, which is the only one I knew. I didn't know
I don't know the difference between ADD and ADHD, but I knew that ADD kids were the kids like who couldn't sit still, and I don't have a problem I don't have a problem doing that. I can sit still. I guess I'm fidgety, but I just didn't, it wasn't to the point where I thought I had ADD. So anyway, that's when I was diagnosed, and it was just at the start of me like quitting my job and trying to figure out all of this, which is why it's like so personal. It's like such a big part of my journey, and that's why I talk about it, because being an entrepreneur is hard enough. An entrepreneur with ADHD is crazy. But another thing was that as I was learning about entrepreneurship, there's like no business people in my family. A lot of them are engineers, or they're in the health field. So they have a very, like, they're in like, you go to school and you like just start the career and go. Because I didn't have that like exposure, I had to figure everything out on my own. And that was everything from like entrepreneurship 101, business 101, but then also ADHD. And in doing research on other entrepreneurs, I realized that a lot of them have ADHD. So that kind of made me feel connected, and also just empowered me to feel like, okay, maybe I have a lot to learn, but it's not impossible, because look, they've done it. So, yeah, like in my mid-20s, I started to kind of notice something, and I even told my parents about it. But again, they just didn't take it seriously, and it was forgetfulness. Like, I would just forget everything all the time. My background, I've had a 10-year career in marketing communications. And, being in marketing, it's like you come up with ideas all the time. You're reporting on analytics and data. You are kind of like, the spokesperson of that organization. And I just was so embarrassed to kind of contribute in administrative meetings and team meetings, because I would always forget my thought like halfway as I was talking. And I've gotten a lot better at that now that I know I have ADHD. It's like I can like mentally like, okay, don't forget the thought, hold on to it, and like write it down if you have to, But like in my career, I didn't know to do that. So like that would make me be just really, really quiet. And, that doesn't affect my skill set and my abilities and what I'm capable of. Obviously, like I would just blow it out of the water, when I would do my job, not in a meeting. So people would ask me like, hey, Heather, what do you think of this? And I was always like, it's great, and then I'd write really long emails because I could like read it over and make sure it was perfect. And as a student, I was just terrible. I think a big part of this was that I was basically pre-med from birth. I feel bad that I'm not looking at your comments, so I'm going to try to pull it up here on the side. I was pretty much pre-med from birth, which I didn't want to be, so I didn't have any interest in what I was studying, but I had friends that weren't interested in bio and OChem and physics and all that either, but they could still study and like retain information, and I couldn't. And I would, oh my God, I would do everything. I would study night and day. I would go to groups and stuff like that, and just like nothing would stick. So eventually I ended up graduating. Well, okay, so I went 3 years into bio. I just was not having it. I was failing like pretty much every class. I failed OChem 3 times. And so basically I had to switch majors during my junior year. Oh, it's because I saw a C-section and fainted. I was interning at a hospital, and then I saw a C-section, totally fainted, and I was like, this is not for me. I can't do this. Sorry, Mom and Dad. So then I switched to the next closest thing, which was applied ecology. That's what I graduated in from UC Irvine, and I haven't touched it since. And from there, I kind of just like went into the industry of doing marketing and communications, mostly for nonprofits. And then that's how I've been here. But yeah, let's see. As an entrepreneur, I don't really know how to explain this. I had to become really, really self-aware. So knowing that I had ADHD, I wasn't like, oh my gosh, pity me, like this sucks or anything. The only thing that made me sad was I wish I could have told myself as a kid, like, hey, there's nothing wrong with you. You just have this thing, and you need to figure out like how to create a system that works for you, because the system that exists, you're going to fail. So that's the only thing that makes me sad. But as an entrepreneur, it's like I don't have a boss to report to, so I could dedicate as much time as I wanted to figuring out like what is ADHD and how does it manifest in me and how can I create the perfect system to optimize my productivity and help me achieve my goals as effectively as possible. So I tried to read, like, I just tried to immerse myself in other people's testimonials, read things, kind of, see what the common symptoms are and see like if I had those and what people did to kind of cope with that. And eventually I created kind of my own system. So I wanted to share that system with you guys. But before I do, don't let me forget that that's what I'm doing. I'm going to just check in here into the comments just in case you guys have questions. I'm being really bad right now. I live stream all the time, but I haven't live streamed on Facebook in a while. Let's see. Great to see it out there. ADHD awareness. Hi. Let's see. What can I do to help my boyfriend understand? Okay, so Samantha Clarkson, what can I do to help my boyfriend understand ADHD and how it can affect our relationship? Well, I've been single since I've learned I've had ADHD. And it didn't, I don't know. See, I guess this is what the advantage was of not knowing I had it this whole time, like most of my life, because I didn't go into relationships or jobs or group things or any kind of, it's just life in general, knowing that ADHD was something I had to deal with. So like even in my last relationship, I knew I was forgetful. I've gotten myself locked out of this apartment like 4 times. I lose everything. And I just told my ex that is just how I am. Like I would tell him like, okay, I'm going to be late to everything. I have no concept of money, no concept of time. And I'm going to lose everything. And he was really understanding about that. So we didn't really have to talk about like, okay, I have ADHD and how like you have to change, we have to change our dynamic or you have to change our behavior as a result of that. But that was just me because I didn't know. So, yeah, let's see. Thanks for joining us today. Awesome. Okay, cool. I think that's it. Okay. So prioritization. That's the hardest part for me as an entrepreneur with ADHD is like just figuring out how to prioritize everything, especially with what I'm doing. Again, my business is called Sharespark Media. It's a movement to educate and empower people to utilize digital media to achieve meaningful goals. And basically, my last job was at a school for grades 6 through 12, and I did their communications and marketing. And because I was, running around with the phone, then the camera, and always posting on Facebook and social media and stuff like that, whenever the kids would have questions about YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever, they would come to me. And that's when I was like, this is weird how the kids are coming to me. I'm not a teacher. I'm not their parent. But they're coming to me because I'm the only person that they can go to. And there's not even a class on it, which is crazy because I had computer literacy classes when I was in high school. And now they don't have that, but they haven't replaced it with anything else yet. I'm talking to 33 of you guys here on Facebook through my phone. I've got my laptop going and I'm sharing my story being an entrepreneur who has ADHD with a bunch of people I don't know. And that's like the beauty and the power of digital media. And that's what I am trying to educate and empower people to recognize. So that's Sharespark Media. The problem is that there's no right or wrong way to do that. And it's been very hard to figure out like how to monetize that because it's a completely different industry. And so that's what's, especially with like ADHD, I try really hard not to blame it on that, but there are so many days I can't even tell you where I just sit in my bed and I cannot. I stare at the ceiling and I just feel so weighed down and I'm like, I don't even know. It all needs to get done. And the only way I can do this is if I clone myself, which is completely impossible. So I'm going to bury myself in my blankets. So, that's the thing. Like, it's just, you're going to go through that. And that doesn't, like, even though I say ADHD is my superpower, that's, I do have to take the struggles, I guess, with the benefits that I see with it, because one of the things that ADHD, well, two things that I know is ADHD, very, I guess, centric of my personalities. I'm very impulsive, number one. And number two, ideas fly at me all the time. Like I can't even turn my brain off, which is super cool in the business that I'm trying to build, because there's so many ways that you can go about it. Like my business changes based on all of the social media platforms. Like Facebook Live was not a thing a year ago, and now I'm doing this, which is crazy. So anyway, prioritization. How do I do this? First of all, a fabulous app. It's also a desktop, like you can access it through your browser, and it's called Todoist. 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 My accountability partner, I have to shout her out. Her name is Carissa Ortega. She's on Instagram at JustKissa. I have to shout her out because she's the one who told me about Todoist. But that was really just a game changer for me, because I've tried every kind of task manager, project manager, to-do list, Post-its, note cards, like everything, and nothing has worked as effectively as Todoist. It just works perfectly for me. It's more than a to-do list. Like you can set dates on everything, and I know you can do that with other project managers. You can set tasks to repeat, which is really helpful. So it's like, I can set when to invoice my clients just automatically, and I know you can do that in a simple calendar, but the beauty of Todoist is that you can say, check, I've completed that task. And the satisfaction and fulfillment of checking something, like actually seeing the check mark and seeing it like go to the bottom of the list with all my other completed tasks, is the most gratifying feeling in the world. So that's what I do to manage like everything, from like my personal stuff that I have to get done and errands and all that, to everything that's business related and like connecting with people and corresponding with people and stuff like that. Then the other thing I use is an app. I'm not sure if it's an Android app, but it's definitely an iPhone app. It's called Forest. And it is an app where basically it starts a timer, and you cannot touch your phone for as long as the timer is going. And if you successfully don't touch your phone, and I also, like, in my mind is focus, right? So like the phone isn't really that distracting to me. I could be distracted by things that are not the phone. So to me, I tell myself, like, I have to focus on whatever it is I'm doing for a certain amount of time. The default time is like 25 minutes. So if you can do that for 25 minutes, it plants a digital tree in your forest, okay? And if you plant enough trees, this business is actually working with an organization where they're actually planting trees like somewhere in the world, which is cool, because it's like, oh, I'm helping out in that way. It's a small way, but still. But just the idea of like, I have to gamify everything. I have to gamify everything and incentivize, like have like prizes at the end. That's just the only way that my mind's gonna do anything. So, like if you, and it really, really works. Like if I turn on the app and I'll start writing or whatever, start doing whatever it is that I have to do, 10 minutes later, it's like, I don't know, I just find myself looking out the window, and then I'll pick up my phone out of habit, and boom, it's like, oh, no, you got to put the phone down. Otherwise the tree starts wilting, and it's like, oh my gosh, put the phone down, focus. And I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to kill a tree. And so it like keeps me on track. There's another app, but I don't know why I didn't end up using it. I know I installed it, but it's called Pomelo. And it's a similar thing, and you can also install it on your desktop, which is great. So it's like if you are, I don't know, typing out in Google Docs and you switch to a different program, like the Pomelo thing will catch you and be like, no, you have to go back. So yeah, those two apps I definitely recommend. I use Forest like all the time. It's just, again, I have to gamify it. And the fact that I can see like my forest actually growing, because it's like you focus that long. It makes me, I need to see the like fruits of my labor. You know what I mean? It's hard, especially if my business is digital media. It can kind of, it's not tangible. Like it's not like, you can't see it, you can't touch it. So being able to see like a digital forest just really helps. So anyway, let's see. Oh yeah, so I would also incentivize with creativity. So I vlog. I used to vlog. If you don't know what a vlog is, it's just basically a video blog. So I used to create a video once every day about that day. So I would just go through the day, talk about what I was doing, talk about what I was working on, whatever, edit it and upload. Bam, it's on YouTube. But I also have like client work. I also have, stuff that isn't as visually engaging. And there's just stuff like, not only am I the CEO, but I'm also the person who has to get that stuff actually done. So I would incentivize myself with like, okay, you got all this cool footage earlier, but you got to get, like, you have to do work. You have to actually like sit. You can't just come up with ideas. Someone's got to execute. So execute. And when you're done, you can go be creative. And that is like the prize that I would use to help me stay focused. Yeah. I haven't really talked to other like ADHD entrepreneurs in person. So I would be curious to know how other people do this. It's really been like, I've been able to connect with other ADHD entrepreneurs digitally, which is great. Like this page is a perfect example. There's also podcasts. This podcast, man, oh man, I'm sure you guys have heard of it, but he's been doing it for years, but I wanted to listen to the very first episode just because when I discovered this podcast, it's when I was starting my entrepreneurial journey. So I just love the idea of like seeing how, even though someone is super successful, I wanted to see where they started at because I wanted to see if I could resonate with where they were so that I know like, okay, look how far they've gone. That's where I'm going to be. Yay. So it's a podcast called ADHD Rewired with Eric Tivers. I haven't listened to it since March. I actually checked before going live. But Eric Tivers, he's actually, I'm not going to say it. I don't know. Don't quote me on this, but he's some kind of like mental health professional who specializes in ADHD, and he also has ADHD himself. But I remember when I listened to the first episode, I just immediately started crying because, I mean, seriously, he could have just titled that episode Heather, Life of Heather, and that is exactly my life. It just was so similar, and just, oh my God, just to hear like that I wasn't alone, that other people were talking about it, that it wasn't this thing that we had to hide. Oh my God, it's such a relief. It's just so nice to know that you're not alone, and I continued to listen to his podcast. He interviews other people who have ADHD, and every time I feel like, oh my gosh, I need to like connect with that person because that's exactly what I went through or whatever. And I just want to tell them like, thank you so much for sharing your story because it's really empowered people like me to feel like they can still achieve their goals and stuff like that. So I definitely recommend that podcast if you haven't checked it out. Let me just peek here in the comments really quick. Okay, Samantha Clarkson, follow up. What can I do to improve my workflow with ADHD? Yeah, see, so with that, to me, it's like, it really is about creating a system that works for you. And I think, again, this is where I feel like the advantage is that I didn't know I had ADHD for the longest time, because even, like, if you have ADHD, the system, and when I say system, I'm referring to, like, school and, like, the career path, I guess. Like, that's not going to work, because it's meant for, like, the average person. People who have ADHD are definitely not average. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just a thing. So I just recently did a talk about having ADHD, and because I'm a YouTuber, to a high school that is for kids with learning differences, mild to severe. And my advice to them was to create a system that works for you, and you are the only person who knows yourself. So what might work for me might not work for you, and vice versa. And it takes a lot of time. Luckily, I made the decision to quit my job and figure this out just all day, all night. Some people don't have the, some people can't do that. But the more self-aware you become and you try different things, like if I didn't try certain things, I would have never known that, oh my gosh, like Todoist is great. like, where has this thing been my whole life, you know? Or like every time I walk out the door, I always say 3 words to myself: keys, wallet, phone, keys, wallet, phone. No matter what, keys, wallet, phone, because I've locked myself out. Like, I'll take the trash out and lock myself out just because I zoned out and I'm like, okay, I don't have my keys. I'm only taking out the trash, but I locked the door for some reason. It's so weird. So, yeah, like I also put a pen or pencil and a paper everywhere I sit. So on the coffee table, there's pen and paper or Post-its. In the bathroom, because like I'll get out of the shower and I'm like, oh my God, you know, I have all these like shower thoughts. Where I do my makeup and hair, I definitely have like Post-its there. Just anywhere where like the thoughts will come. This is my office, so it's right next to the kitchen, so I don't have to put one in the kitchen. Yeah. What was the question? I have ADHD. What can I do to improve my workflow? Yeah, so it's like, you know, I would think back to like, well, what if I knew I had ADHD as a student? And still, like, even still, it's great you have this extra support and you have all these things that have been proven to work. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, you know, I don't know. Like, maybe that doesn't work for you. And you're the only one who can figure out, like, you have to really step up. It takes effort rather than having someone tell you, like, this is what's going to work. It's like, it's easier to just go with that rather than challenge the system and figure it out yourself. So it's definitely not easy, but like, speaking from experience, you can be a lot more productive. You can be a lot more efficient. You can get a lot more done. And I don't know, you're just capable of more than what you think. I'm constantly like surprising myself. So, but that's because I'm constantly trying to reevaluate. I have to optimize every single thing that I can because like my livelihood depends on this. So yeah. Michael Lorenzana. How can I focus in the workplace when I have so much on my mind? That is a good question. So what I would do is, let's see. At work, I had my to-do list of stuff that needed to get done. And this is what I did when I didn't know I had ADHD. But basically, I would have a whole list of projects, right? And just like tasks that needed to get done. And every single day, I would create a new list where I would prioritize what needed to get done for that day. And I would just, like, this is like the main list, and I would have like a Monday list, a Tuesday list, a Wednesday list, and stuff like that. Now, if any other idea would fly at me, which happens all the time, like I worked at a school, okay, so it's like as soon as you leave the office, you see kids, you see teachers, there's like stuff going on. It was just like overwhelmed, like brain overload. I would walk out with a piece of paper. Like I had to like, because not every idea is a good idea, but I also didn't want to lose thoughts that that might be worth pursuing later. So I just wrote down everything. I wouldn't use the notes app in my iPhone, but just write down everything. And it comes down to like, if you need to get, like if you have your, what is today? Friday? If you have your Friday list, right? Like just focus on getting the Friday list done. Like stay on the one task, turn on the Forest app, right? I'm telling you that I swear by that Forest app. Push the thing and focus 30 minutes. If you have an idea that pops up, write it on the piece of paper and go back. Like you have to get stuff done, and that's what I do for me. It's so hard not to see, this is something that I've just learned to practice, but I remember back to like my first 6 months as an entrepreneur, even just like the first year where I'd have my list for Friday, but then I'll go on Twitter and all of a sudden it's like, there's this breaking news story, this new, this social media platform came out with this feature, and I walked outside and got an idea for a new vlog that I want to get done that day. And all of a sudden Friday list grew and like there's all this other stuff that wasn't there originally. And I get that, but that's where the new things, like I can't tell you how to prioritize because obviously like that just depends, right? But what I would do is the new things I would use those as like incentives. You have to get through the other things that really need to get done, and then you can go back and do the other things, or you put them on to the next day, which is why Todoist is so great, because it's like you can just, I have a whole folder called ideas. It's just ideas. There's no timelines on them. There's no due dates. It's just ideas that I dedicate a certain amount of time every week to just looking in that folder. I'm not executing, I'm not strategizing. It's just like, okay, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to just looking in this folder and seeing all the other ideas I've already come up with. Are they worth pursuing? Are they not? Do I leave them there? Do I add them to the to-do list, etc.? Yeah. I hope that helps. Let's see. Any articles you'd recommend to better cope with my ADHD? I don't have any articles to recommend because I haven't really read much. Really, the one that helped me was the podcast, ADHD Rewired by Eric Tivers. And I love podcasts because I can listen to them like as I'm like cleaning or I'm in the car, commuting, stuff like that. So that one really, really helped. Can you link the podcast afterwards? Yeah, I can do it right now, actually. ADHD Rewired. Here we go. Here's the website. Boom. So I just put it in the chats, and I'm sure on there there's going to be a link to either iTunes or Android. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm an entrepreneur who has a lot of ideas with poor execution. Glad to know there's support out there. Oh, yeah. I think that's what every ADHD entrepreneur struggles with, is like I tried doing this. This is one thing I tried, was like I would have an idea day and then an execution day, which, depending on my mood, actually really does work. But again, it really just comes down to like you finding a system that works for you. So, yeah. All right, let me go back to my list here. Okay. Let's see. Right. Yeah, so I guess that was it, actually. Yeah, did you guys have any questions? I don't know. I've been an entrepreneur, and I've only known that I've had ADHD for about 1.5 years. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you can just go to YouTube and search HeatherJustCreate. That is basically the documentary of my life for the past 1.5 years. I started this on April 16th, 2016, and I've tried to authentically share my journey as real as possible. And part of that is sharing the struggles. And so struggling with ADHD is something I talk about, but it's great because, like I said, I kind of feel like because I have ADHD, because I have vlogs on ADHD, there's kind of this like sub community that's grown there. Like people follow me because I have that. And there's people who don't have ADHD that have been following me for a while. And even though my like ADHD playlist is only 3 videos long, like you can see the symptoms of ADHD in like every single vlog, or especially the live streams. Like I constantly forget what I'm saying. My subscribers, I mean, that's what's great about being so open about it, because my friends, my family, my subscribers, followers, they all like, I'm like, I have ADHD. So when I forget what I'm saying, they'll just jump in like, this is what you were talking about. And it doesn't make me feel like embarrassed. I don't have to be embarrassed anymore like I was at work, where it's like you always have to put your best face forward. But luckily I've positioned myself where I could just be like truly who I am and not feel like, I need to impress people by being someone I'm not. Let's see. Susanna Vara, can you give me advice on how to talk to my ADHD husband and the importance of finding what he really likes and find his own method? Yes. Finding what he really likes. Like, what do you mean really likes? As in hobbies or like career, entrepreneurial ventures? Let me see. Like for me, I just know that until, like I never had a passion. And I don't know if this is like ADHD or just like my personal journey, so I'm going to preface that with that. But like, I never had a passion until I discovered the need, having worked at the school and recognizing this like digital divide, how you have a generation who has grown up and lived without the internet and all of this digital media stuff, and you have a generation that hasn't seen a day without it, and me being stuck in the middle and trying to like explain it to both sides. As soon as I discovered that, I felt like everything about me changed. I'd never been so passionate. I've never like come up with so many ideas. I was to the point where I couldn't sleep. Like insomnia kicked in full force because I just was so excited to try to figure out how to conquer this problem. As soon as I saw the problem, I just started to do research online. But I mean, this is why I'm so passionate about digital literacy, because it really like sparked my potential. The movement I'm starting is called Sharespark Media. Sharespark is share your story, spark your potential. So that's what I did. That's what digital media has allowed me to do. So if you're trying to find something that you like, I swear by the internet, like if there's bad things with social media, definitely. But if you figure out how you can use it as a tool to unlock your potential, like medium.com, if you haven't checked that out, it's not one of the major platforms just because it's like, there's not a lot of fluff on there. Like you're not going to get like cat videos or anything. It's basically articles mostly by thought leaders and authorities in their industry, people trying to spread ideas. It's like TED Talks, but blogs. And going on there, it's like, wow, it was such a, like, it really helped open my eyes to things that I could potentially like. Also, podcasts were life-changing. Oh my gosh, podcasts. Like, that was the first time where I started to question the world. Like, why are things the way that they are? Maybe I could do this. Maybe I can contribute somehow or come up with my own idea to solve a problem. You know, you just have to, like, I think digital media allows you. I totally just got a phone call. Sorry. Hopefully I'm still streaming. But, yeah. Digital media allows you to connect with like-minded people. Like you could connect with anyone, anywhere, anytime about anything, you know? So that could be really overwhelming. That's why you want to figure out like, before you like jump into like, you know, space, like where you're going. But like once you can figure out, just keep going, you know? Okay. Let's see. Tamika. My husband gets frustrated with the fact that I don't complete tasks. I get frustrated with the fact that I don't complete tasks. Like everyone around me does. Like for sure, it's frustrating. It's like there's no one who's more frustrated than I am. Because I'm the only employee in my business, okay? So I am the only person I can blame, which is great because like I am naturally a hard worker. I love working, but man, like I will beat myself up. Like yesterday I had a panic attack. If you go to my YouTube channel, HeatherJustCreate, the most recent video I uploaded was straight up me having a full-blown panic attack. And I have a grant due today. I have an online class I was supposed to finish like 2 months ago, and I was supposed to finish it today and haven't even started. And I'm launching a new initiative for Sharespark on Tuesday that I have so much to do for still. And that's just like the first 3 things that come to my mind. So, and I shut down yesterday. I was so overwhelmed that I don't know, I went into panic attack and ended up just going skateboarding. So like, you know, I don't know. I mean, this is why I try to share the story as authentically as possible, because I feel like sometimes people will see one video and be like, oh, dude, she's got everything together. It's like, no, dude, like, it's still really hard to do everything. But the one thing that I have done is that I don't beat myself up for feeling overwhelmed. Like, if I don't complete a task, or if I can't get myself out of bed because I'm just so, like, blah, then I just stay there. You know, like, I don't force myself out of it. I know eventually I'll snap out of it and go. So I just, like, take the best nap ever, guilt-free. Like, I'm like, okay, body, is this what you need right now? Fine. We'll get to it tomorrow. The world will not end. So, but then again, I'm also in a position to be able to do that. So I don't know. That one's like tough, you know, with the fact that I don't complete tasks. Yeah. Like, so again, I don't know if this is an ADHD thing, but there are like completing tasks it's like so satisfying to me. Like, you know, checking something off the to-do list, or I love cleaning because I love being able to see the before and after. Like, I just love it. So I try to do those things first, where it's like I don't have to think, because it's the strategy, it's the prioritization, it's the, you know, sitting and figuring out what needs to get done. That's the hard part. Like, that's the part that is hard for me to mentally get into. But if it's mindless, like just cleaning, I don't have to think when I'm cleaning. You know, it's just, you just zone out and all of a sudden everything's clean. So I try to do those first and then do the thinking after. Hope that helps. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so Susanna, how to find a passion in life. Yeah, just digital media. This is hard because, you know, I don't want to take away from the fact that this is like ADHD inspiration, because I can go on and on about how to use digital media to achieve your goals. Finding a passion is one of them. But I definitely do recommend medium.com, podcasts, and Twitter. And I know Twitter, if you don't know how to use Twitter, it's weird. You're gonna, obviously you're gonna think what you think of Twitter, but if you can figure out how to use it, and you can shoot me a message, I can kind of show you how to do it. It is so easy to connect with people on Twitter. Like, I'm willing to bet that I can tweet the guy who does this podcast and like be able to get a response very quickly. Like, even more so than email. Because when people think of email, it's arduous. You know, it's like, it's work. You know, when you're checking emails, like, that's work. But on Twitter, this is a public forum, you know, like people can see what you're tweeting at people. So that's like, everyone wants to see your response kind of thing. So that adds a different dimension, I guess, in connecting with people. Let's see. David Bao. I definitely have ADHD. I found that staying very busy with things I'm passionate about helps tremendously. It becomes a superpower. Totally. Yeah, I like, there was a point where I was listening to a lot of podcasts about people who had ADHD. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos and just like reading more testimonials, to the point where like I had enough, because I was like, okay, I'm not alone, but that's enough. Like, I don't want to just listen to other people doing really cool things. You know, it's like, okay, I get the fact that I'm not alone and they're successful and they're doing it. Now I got to go do me. That's all I needed. I just kind of needed like, okay, proof of concept. Can someone with ADHD become an entrepreneur and be successful? Yes. Awesome. It's possible. Now I'm going to go try. So there's definitely a point where I kind of had to like, you know, stop listening to other people's stories and figure it out for myself. Let's see. Brandon, best way to deal with forgetfulness, especially in the workplace. It is so frustrating to have to keep writing everything down, and events more frustrating to keep asking people to repeat what they need. Yeah. I don't know. Forgetfulness is the one that I struggle with for sure every single day. And like, it's like you can feel the thought just drifting away. You try so hard to try to grab it and it doesn't work. I know how you feel, man. I mean, but there's only so much you can do. It's like you either write it down or you don't. You tell everyone around you, I have ADHD. If I forget something, that's why. So help me out, you know? But again, that's why Todoist, you can break everything into very specific subtasks. And I will go out of my way to do that just so I don't forget anything. So, for example, what's like a simple example? Okay. If I were to if I had a to-do list, right, I could create a YouTube video for today. And that could be the task. That could be the project. That's the thing that I would add on my Todoist or on this piece of paper or on any other project management system. With Todoist though, like, under create a video, I have like 20 things listed. It's like, take a picture for the thumbnail, create the thumbnail, record, this set and this set and this set. And those are all 3 subtasks. And then it's like, edit the vlog, drag the footage into iMovie, export it, come up with a title, come up with the descriptions. Like I just write that. And I know you can say that you spend a lot of time like not even executing, but that's just, again, that's a system that I found that has worked for me. Otherwise I will forget. And then I'll spend so much time trying. It's like such a waste of time to try to figure out what needs to get done when you already know. It's like, I don't have to think about what goes into creating a video because it's already written there. Otherwise, I have to do that every single time. It's kind of like you wake up every morning and you have to figure out your list again, and you just did it yesterday, So, yeah, Todoist is like very flexible. It's mobile. It's very, it's just dynamic. With my brain, it works. And it doesn't make me feel like other task managers used to make me feel like it just was like such a reminder of how much I wasn't getting stuff done because it would just be a whole long list of stuff I couldn't get to or never got to, whatever. But with to-do lists, I don't feel that way. So definitely recommend it. Let's see. My son's only 9 and have ADHD. Yeah. Again, I was 30 when I was diagnosed. And I'm really glad that it was after what I think is the hard part of life, the first 30 years when you're trying to figure yourself out. Because it's like everything gets pushed on you, like, oh, this is what you have to do and what you have to do. And this is the right way. This is the only way. And like, now I'm just like, it's not the only way. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to find my way. Susanna, can you remind me the name of the podcast? Yes, it's called ADHD Rewired with Eric Tivers. So here's the website. I'm going to link it in the comments. And then I will also include the iTunes link. Yeah, he's on episode 183, which is nuts. That's crazy. So there we are. Okay. Okay, so with that said, there's still 28 of you guys tuned in here. I think I've been going on for an hour now. So I'm going to try to start ending this. And I saved this part for last. I said that the movement I'm trying to build is called Sharespark Media. And again, it's to educate and empower people to utilize digital media to achieve meaningful goals. I'm trying to promote digital literacy, and I'm excited because we have a new program that's going to launch next week on Tuesday. It's going to be a Facebook Live show where my co-host is named Tom Buck, and he is a digital media production and digital media literacy teacher at a high school. And basically what we're going to be doing is kind of offering the digital literacy perspective of things in the news and how digital media has affected how we connect, how we communicate, how we build relationships, how we do business, everything. And I'm really excited for it. Again, it starts on Tuesday at 8 p.m. You can go follow the Facebook page. It's facebook.com/sharesparkmedia. And also, if you haven't gotten a chance to check out my vlog on YouTube, it's HeatherJustCreate. You can just search it. I have a couple of videos on ADHD, and also that talk I told you guys that I did at the high school for kids with learning differences. I recorded it, so it's on there. And yeah, I kind of wanted to give you guys a little peek as to what it is like to be a vlogger and what it's like to be, like, kind of what my story is. I make videos all the time, like I said, and the reason why I'm wearing this headset is actually because I was riding an electric skateboard going like 23 miles an hour and fell. And my phone broke and the mic just like died, which is why I'm using this. But I am going to take you guys out with me. I live in Long Beach, California. and I'm going to take you guys for a ride on my electric skateboard. I don't know if you guys can see it. There it is, right here. This is a boosted board, and it's just to give you guys an idea of the potential of sharing your story, because that's what I'm passionate about. And digital media has allowed me to connect with people like you who have ADHD or might be struggling with the same thing. So yeah, I kind of just wanted to show, like, if you've never seen what this is like, I can show you. I'm still checking the comments, so if you have anything to say, feel free. You can also shoot me a message if you want to connect with me, but let's go. This should be fun. All right, so here's my electric skateboard. I'm only gonna go for like 5 minutes, maybe 10, but all right, I gotta switch to my helmet, so here we go. Let me, I will try to not make you guys barf. Let me put my helmet on. Because safety first, you know. Even though I have ADHD, I really like my brain. All right, so here's the remote. Boom, we're gonna turn it on. Here's the board. Turn this guy on too. And I am packed and ready to go, actually. Oh, you know what I need? My sunglasses. I have no idea where my sunglasses are. We're gonna go find them. Here's a sneak peek into my room. This is all in the vlog anyway, so. Aha, here we go. All right. Trying to think if there's anything else I could share about having ADHD. Oh, sorry if there's like, this thing is rubbing, hold on. All right, cool. Let's see. Very much needed information. Thank you, because no one can help me when it comes to, I wish I can read the comments. I can't like read the full comment. That's so weird. Oh, there we go. Anyway, okay, let's go. ADHD, what else? Oh, we can talk about medication if you guys want to go there. So, like I said, I also have anxiety. And I don't know if I have depression anymore, but I definitely have depressive episodes. I have a prescription for Xanax, which I don't really take because it makes me really sleepy. And that's just off of like half a pill, so I don't really, like, even if I am having, okay, cool. My phone's gonna die, so we're not gonna go very far. First of all, when I get off the Wi-Fi, it might lag, but I will reconnect once I get on LTE. Okay, so I don't take Xanax even if I'm having a panic attack because, I don't know, it just makes me sleepy. And I'd rather, I don't know, I just like try to figure out how else to deal with it. I do have a prescription for Adderall, and I know the whole argument on Adderall is a very controversial one, like medicated or not medicated. Prescription, I can't remember the dosage I have. Oh, so here's my board. And I just go. I can't read your comments, by the way, so sorry. I'm really loud. So for Adderall, I have a prescription to take like half a pill 3 times a day, but I don't. I'm not, I don't know, I could probably get a lot more done taking Adderall more often, But the thing is, I don't want anything to... Oh, are we still good? Oh, here we go. Yay, okay. Sorry it cut out. I'll just walk. So yes, I don't take it as often as it's prescribed to me because I feel like it like affects my creativity. I don't know whether that's it affects it in a good way or a bad way, but I don't want it to affect it at all. And because most of what I do is very creative, it's this like fine line of, you know, trying to understand. I don't know, it's hard. It's like, okay, do I need to take this because I can't focus? Or can I get myself to focus somehow? Yeah, it's hard. So I can't really tell you like what my regimen is because I don't really have one. It's just kind of like, maybe I'll take it today. Maybe I go a whole week without taking it at all. And even when I do, I take like half of halves because I'm super sensitive. So I can't tell you exactly what the dosage is. I should probably know that. But hi. Let's see. Self-medicated himself. Okay. Yeah. But that's all I have in terms of medication. I know, you know, I've looked into Adderall and people have told me that it's super addictive and it's hard to get off of, but because I never really got into taking it every day, you know, it's like my doctor and I, we talked about taking it as needed and purely because I feel like my creativity is just different. So, I don't know, it's just about finding the balance. Let's see, what else is ADHD? I think my final conclusion with ADHD is like, after discovering that I had it and then being on this journey of like having to completely create my own system for me that hasn't, you know, it's completely like customized for me. I don't know whether certain things about myself are ADHD or entrepreneurship, or if it's just my personality, or if it's like everyone's like this. Like, I don't know. And to me, it really doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter whether you're diagnosed with anxiety or you're not, or you're ADHD or not. And that's just my personal opinion, because again, I've gone 30 years without having that diagnosis. You just really have to figure out what works for you. And kind of, I don't know, like put yourself in a position where you're not bound to fail. So like for sure, I was going to fail being a bio major at UC Irvine. Like that, there was just, like that was a guaranteed thing, ADHD or not, you know, like, but especially with ADHD. Yeah, so, I mean, I was really engaged in extracurricular activities. So I was like leadership in all of the student organizations that I joined. I had volunteering experience and internships and all of these, and I was really successful at them, but I just sucked at like organic chemistry and bio and stuff. So, yeah. Let's see what else. I guess that's it. So unless you guys have other questions, I don't see any new ones. I'm going to skate back that way. I wish I could show you the water over there. Actually, I'm just going to show you the water, and if it cuts out, then thanks for watching. This has been awesome. Paul, thanks again. ADHD Inspiration. Thank you for creating this group, because again, like, to me, what's so special about ADHD and digital media is the fact that more people who have ADHD and are doing really cool, unique, creative, successful things are able to come to light, you know, and I think before, without digital media, it's like, okay, you have ADHD, you're kind of just screwed. You know, you have this mental illness, this disability, this thing, you know, like just such a bad thing. But it's like, by creating this group, you know, it's nice to be able to connect with people like, okay, what's worked for you? Let me go try that. Maybe it doesn't work, but maybe it does. But how would I know what to try if I like don't even know where to start? So, Paul, thanks so much again for creating this and bringing us ADHD peeps together. This is totally illegal to be riding on the sidewalk, but I'm trying to get to the water over there. You can't help it. My son always felt, yeah, this is hard. Let's see what else. My best advice for anyone who has ADHD is to honestly think of it as a superpower. And I know that might be hard if you were diagnosed as a kid and you've been living with it your whole life and you've been struggling. I can only imagine that. I don't know for sure, but that's what I would think you guys, or like people would feel that way. But for me, it's like as soon as I honed in on the fact that I had ADHD, it just like I would love to go back to my jobs knowing that that's what I had, because it's like, well, if I forget, I don't have to feel embarrassed anymore. It's like, I just forget. Sorry, that's like just how my brain works. Doesn't mean I'm incompetent. Doesn't mean that I'm any less capable of, you know, being a rock star at marketing. It's just like the way it is, you know? So, yeah, it's just about like seeing, like trying things that you've never tried before. If you type in ADHD entrepreneurs into YouTube, it is so inspiring. Let me tell you how inspiring it is. It's very inspiring because there's a lot of people like me who it's like you'll see ADHD is a superpower in like so many YouTube titles, because that is what allows us to come up with ideas. Our brains think differently. You know, I was talking to a person who is well-versed in mental illness, is all I can say. I don't know if she wants to be named, but a person who's well-versed in mental illness and dealing with so many people over her career, hundreds if not thousands of people who have mental disabilities. And when I told her, she was one of the first people that I told that I was diagnosed with ADHD. And she told me, I don't know if this is true, but I could see it being true, that in like primitive cultures, people who have ADHD were the ones who would like scope out the new lands, because people who, like, they were the hunters and the ones who would like figure out where the village was supposed to set up shop, because we would see like, okay, this is where the water source is, which means this, or you know, there's a forest here, so I don't know, there's a source of food or whatever. Like, we would be the scouts. And when she told me that, oh my gosh, I was like, it was kind of like the first time that's, and especially coming from her because she's a mental health professional, it was the first time where someone had described ADHD to me in a way that wasn't like this handicap or this thing that was like just so god awful to be diagnosed with. You know, like everyone else, it was like, I don't know, you know, like my mom, she was like, no way, you can't tell anybody. I'm like, what? Why not? Like, why is that something I have to hide? It just seems weird. So anyway, I'm going to end it, but I did want to show you guys this because it's gorge. This is Belmont Shore in Long Beach, if you don't know where I am. I'm going to flip the camera and show you, and then I'll log off because I'm hogging up the time here. I mean, look at that. Gorgeous day. What a Friday. Amazing, amazing. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning again. Shout out again to Paul. I'm on Facebook at HeatherJustCreate, facebook.com/HeatherJustCreate. You can find me on YouTube. You can also check out the movement I'm building called Sharespark Media. And with that said, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Share this video with anyone who would find it helpful. And thanks for tuning in with me. See you guys later. Bye.